Welcome to all of you, students, literature enthusiasts, and curious explorers of knowledge. Today we will embark on a fascinating journey to the roots of our language and culture to discover the figures who have shaped its deepest identity. We'll discuss the three crowns Dante Alighieri, Francesco Petrarca, and Giovanni Boccaccio. These 14th century giants aren't just names on ancient textbooks, but true pillars that supported and elevated the edifice of Italian literature. Their works defined our vernacular, transforming it from a simple dialect to a sublime instrument of artistic and intellectual expression. They shaped timeless themes and invented expressive forms that still resonate with our sensibilities today. They were the true architects of Italian thought and feeling, capable of spanning the centuries and speaking directly to the hearts and minds of every generation. They left us a priceless legacy, a treasure trove of beauty and depth. We begin our journey with the great Dante Alighieri, born in Florence in 1265. His figure is inextricably linked to the birth of the Italian language, so much so that he is unanimously recognized as its founding father. Dante's life was profoundly marked by dramatic political events, culminating in his unjust exile from his beloved Florence in 1302. This condemnation forced him into a painful and constant wandering around Italy. Exile wasn't just a personal scar, it became the lens through which he observed and judged the world. Each of his works, and especially the Divine Comedy, resonates with the pain of loss, the thirst for justice, and the hope of redemption. From this experience of uprootedness and solitude, he drew inner strength and a unique perspective on the human condition. His vision was enriched, embracing the entire moral and theological universe of his time. The exile's bitterness transformed into inspiration, elevating his poetry to a level of universality that still fascinates us today. His pain became song, his anger became prophecy. Dante's most famous work is undoubtedly the Divine Comedy, a masterpiece unparalleled in the history of world literature. It's not just a book, but an entire universe to explore. Its nature is that of an epic allegorical poem, a grandiose tale in verse that narrates an extraordinary journey. It is the story of a lost soul seeking salvation, traversing the realms of the afterlife. The central theme is precisely the journey through the afterlife, hell, purgatory, and paradise. But this journey is not merely physical, it is above all a spiritual and moral one. Dante explores with unprecedented depth the human condition, its vices and virtues, its downfalls and redemptions. He investigates the complex and mysterious relationship between man and God, between earthly will and divine law. It's a meditation on existence, on sin and grace, on justice and mercy. Every line is imbued with meaning, every encounter a lesson. The Divine Comedy is composed of three distinct canticles, each representing a phase of the poet's otherworldly journey. They are hell, purgatory, and paradise, fundamental stages in a journey of purification. Let's now focus on the first canticle, the Inferno, probably the most famous and impressive. Here, Dante immerses us in an abyss of suffering where every sin finds its just and often cruel punishment. The Inferno is a meticulous investigation of human vices, depicted with vivid and terrifying precision. Dante doesn't simply list them, but shows their eternal consequences, their profound and corrosive nature. The infernal topography is described with architectural precision, almost as if it were a real tangible place. Each circle, each pit, each chasm has its own logic, reflecting the hierarchy of sins. This realm of damnation is populated by iconic figures, figures who have marked the history and chronicle of the time, but also myths and legends. Every encounter is a drama, every voice a testimony. Dante is guided on his journey through the circles of hell by the Latin poet Virgil, a symbol of human reason. Virgil is the guide who protects him and instructs him in the face of horrific visions. The journey through hell is not just an exploration of evil, but a painful and necessary path of purification. It is through the knowledge of sin that one can aspire to redemption. The ultimate goal of this journey is to understand divine grace, the ultimate justice that governs the universe. Only after reaching the bottom of the abyss can one ascend to the light. The Divine Comedy is not only a literary work of inestimable value, but also a veritable encyclopedia of medieval knowledge. It condenses all the knowledge of the time. He astutely analyzes the politics of the time, the struggles between the communes and the empire, the Guelph and Ghibelline factions, the corruption and ambitions that animated society. It is a living fresco of a troubled era. He delves into philosophy, drawing on the great classical and medieval thinkers from Aristotle to Thomas Aquinas. His poetry is imbued with intellectual speculation and a search for truth. And of course, it is a theological treatise, a magnificent synthesis of Christian doctrine. Dante explores the mysteries of faith, the nature of God, salvation, and damnation with astonishing depth and clarity. It is a complete work, capable of combining poetry and doctrine, passion and reason, history and myth, a monument that stands at the center of Western culture, an inexhaustible source of study and inspiration. Let's now turn to Francesco Petrarca, born in Arezzo in 1304, a figure who represents a crucial turning point in the history of Italian and European literature. With him, a new era began, that of humanism. His most famous work is the Canzoniere, a sublime collection of sonnets and songs that constitute one of the pinnacles of lyric poetry of all time. It is a poetic diary of a soul in love and torment. The songbook is entirely dedicated to Laura, the beloved and idealized woman, a symbol of earthly beauty and, at the same time, the source of unquenchable pain. It is an ode to love, beauty, and pain. Petrarch explores with unprecedented sensitivity the most intimate nuances of love, its joy and its anguish, its exaltation and its frustration. It is a profound investigation into the stirrings of the human heart. Through the Canzoniere, Petrarch inaugurated a new model of intellectual, a man of refined and complex sensibility, deeply attentive to his own inner self. He was the first to reveal his true self in poetry. He is a divided man, torn between religious faith and earthly passion, between the pursuit of worldly glory and the contemplation of eternal life, a duality that makes him profoundly modern. Inner conflict is, in fact, the recurring and most profound theme in Petrarch's work. It is a constant struggle between reason and emotion, between spirituality and desire, between the aspiration to the divine and the attraction to the world. This laceration, this state of suspension between two opposite poles, makes him a precursor of the anxieties of the modern age. His poetry is the song of a soul searching for a balance never fully achieved. His psychological exploration and his capacity for self analysis pave the way for a new conception of the individual. Petrarch shows us the complexity of the human soul with its contradictions and fragilities. Love for Laura, while a source of torment, also becomes a means of deeper self knowledge. Through love, Petrarch explores the limits and possibilities of human existence. His language, clear and elegant, becomes the perfect vehicle to express this refined emotional complexity. Petrarchism would influence European lyric poetry for centuries, leaving an indelible mark. We conclude our trio with Giovanni Boccaccio, born in Certaldo or Florence in 1313, the singer of life, joy, and human ingenuity. His vision is a hymn to vitality and resilience. His most famous work is the Decameron, a monumental collection of 100 short stories that represents a milestone in Italian and European prose. It is a living mosaic of 14th century society. The stories are narrated by 10 young people, 7 women, and 3 men who take refuge in a villa outside Florence to escape the Black Death. In an atmosphere of tragedy, they choose to celebrate life through storytelling. The Decameron celebrates man's ability to face adversity, his intelligence, his cunning, and his vital spirit. It is a tribute to the unstoppable force of human ingenuity in the face of death. This narrative framework, which sees young people entertained for 10 days by telling stories, offers a powerful contrast between the devastation outside and the creativity and vitality flourishing within. In the Decameron, Boccaccio extols a series of central themes that reflect a more secular and bourgeois worldview than Dante and Petrarch. He celebrates love in all its forms, from sensual passion to the purest affection. Luck is another key element, seen as a capricious force that governs human events, but which can be bent or harnessed by ingenuity and quick thinking. Man is the architect of his own destiny. Wit, cunning, and the ability to adapt are qualities celebrated in his stories. Boccaccio admires those who can manage their own affairs intelligently, those who know how to use words and actions to achieve their goals. Another significant theme is the exaltation of commerce, trade, and the bourgeois world. Boccaccio portrays a rapidly evolving society where money and enterprise play an increasingly important role. The Decameron offers a vivid, realistic, and sometimes merciless portrait of contemporary society, with its vices and virtues. It is a faithful mirror of human passions, ambitions, and hypocrisies. The Decameron is an innovative work in many ways. Its frame structure, while not entirely new, is masterfully employed, making it iconic and a source of inspiration for centuries to come. His language, the Florentine vernacular, achieved a perfection and richness of vocabulary and syntax that made it a model for subsequent prose. Boccaccio demonstrates the versatility and power of the vernacular. The attention to everyday reality, to the details of common life, to the experiences of bourgeois and common men and women represents a break with the previous literary tradition, which was more oriented towards idealization. For its modernity, its freshness, and its celebration of man and his ability to act in the world, the Decameron is considered a true manifesto of Renaissance culture. It is a work that anticipates the spirit of a new era, in which man is placed at the center of the universe with his virtues and his defects, his joys and his sorrows, his intelligence and his ability to build his own destiny. Dante Alighieri, Francesco Petrarca, and Giovanni Boccaccio, the Three Crowns, laid the foundations of Italian literature. Without them, our literary tradition would be unimaginable. They defined stylistic canons, introducing forms and genres that would influence entire generations of writers. They shaped universal themes from love to death, from politics to faith. The expressive forms they pioneered, from verse to artistic prose, have become the model and point of reference for every author who came after. Their influence has been profound and lasting. Their legacy has influenced Italian culture for centuries, permeating every field of knowledge and art. They have provided a shared vocabulary, syntax, and imagery that still define us today. The literary legacy left by these three giants is invaluable, a treasure trove of beauty, thought, and emotion that continues to speak to us, men and women of the 21st century. Their works remain an inexhaustible source of inspiration and reflection, capable of enlightening our minds and touching our hearts. They invite us to explore the human condition in all its facets. Continuing to study them, read them, and question them means maintaining a dialogue with the deepest roots of our identity. It means honoring the greatness of those who gave us our language and our literary soul. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the magnificence of the Three Crowns. I hope this lesson has inspired you to delve even deeper into their immortal works.